Zombies, vanished hikers, unsolved deaths, end-of-the-world whispers that echo through time. This is Aussie After Dark, the place where the line between fact and fear disappears. So light a candle, lock the doors, and don't blink, because the story you're about to hear might just be true. Some stories crawl out of the grave. Others are buried beneath ice and silence. From the bone-dry heart of the Australian outback to the snow-blind trails of Siberia, terror doesn't knock. It waits. Here, we tell the tales that stay with you long after the fire's gone out. They never trained us for this. Not in the academy, not in the riot briefings, not even during the Logan raids or during Origin nights, when half the city was drunk and the other half was trying to fight them. This question mark. This wasn't civil unrest. This was the collapse of order. I'm Mason Rourke, Beat Patrol, Brisbane City. Badge number 48,216. I'm 25, but the mirror says otherwise now. Lines under the eyes, a hollow behind the cheek. Like something's been gnawing at me from the inside out. It started like any Thursday. Coffee, flat white, no sugar. The barista knew my name but always wrote Jason. A joke now, in hindsight. Sarge cracked a joke about some kid tagging City Hall with a Banksy knockoff. Jenny Markham rolled her eyes and handed me the keys to the patrol car. South Bank was waking up. Joggers in neon gear. Tourists snapping photos of the Ferris wheel. Kids laughing over smoothies. Normal. The city hummed with the kind of casual beauty we all took for granted. Poinciana trees blooming red along Gray Street. The smell of fresh-cut grass from the riverside lawns. I remember a kid spinning circles in the open fountain, his dad watching, shoes off, smiling. That was the last normal hour I'd ever see. Turbot Street. 11:56 a.m. The call was vague. A paramedic down, attacked by a patient. No known drug use, no known mental health history. We thought meth or spice. We'd seen it before, but this time, the victim didn't scream, didn't cry, just stared. Blood on her scrubs, a bite on her neck. Her partner stood pale as death, whispering. She didn't feel it. Jenny crouched beside her, trying to talk. I scanned the street, cars slowing, people rubbernecking. Then the second call came in. Another bite, 3 streets over. Then another. And another. By 1 p.m., there were 12. All the same, mindless aggression, blank expressions, no pupils, no words. Dispatch used the word. Infected. By 2:30 p.m., we were rerouted to Queen Street. Total gridlock, civilians screaming. Something burned in the distance. Meyer Center? Or a car park? Jenny nudged me. Mace, you feel that? The silence beneath the noise, the dread behind the sirens, like standing in the eye of a cyclone. A family sprinted toward us. Mom, Dad, 2 kids, 1 missing a shoe. Bridge. Story Bridge. They're tearing them apart. We responded. It was protocol. It was instinct. It was the worst decision we ever made. Bodies lined the bridge, some twitching, others crawling. One was gnawing on a man's shoulder, just gnawing, like an animal. Clark fired 3 rounds. The thing kept coming. Only a bullet through the head dropped it. Jenny gagged. I froze. My training screamed, engage! But every cell in me whispered, run. We fell back. Patrol cars formed a barricade, engines off, sirens silent. We could hear them clawing, moaning, scraping metal. We converted our substation into a triage center. Civilians came, young, old, wounded, bleeding, limping, dazed. A woman in a business suit kept whispering, "It's the water, isn't it?" No one answered. We didn't know. We still don't. We patched what we could, wrapped limbs, sterilized bites we knew were a death sentence. A man died on the conference table. His son asked, When will he wake up? Jenny didn't speak. She just knelt down and held him. That's the first time I saw her cry. Backroom meeting, heated. Some wanted to leave. "We've got families!" they shouted. Others, like me and Jenny, couldn't. Wouldn't. We swore an oath, she said. Who's left if we leave? That night, we went out again. Boundary Street, dental clinic, SOS on Facebook, a mother with a newborn, trapped. We moved silently. Me, Jenny, Clark, and Constable Halim. The clinic was pitch black, no power. Our boots echoed on the tile. Blood streaked the reception desk. We heard a dragging sound. Inside the back office, the mother, cradling her child, humming, "You are my sunshine." The wall scratched with bloody fingernails. Jenny took the baby. I led them out. We fought our way back through a corridor of bodies. Only some stayed dead. Morning light didn't bring hope. It just made the horror clearer. We regrouped at City Hall. Survivors gathered. Dozens huddled like lost children. We barred the doors, lined chairs against windows, counted bullets, said prayers. A father asked, "Do you think help is coming?" I lied. "Yeah, just hang on." Then the glass broke. Chaos, screams, gunfire, Jenny shouting orders, Clark bleeding from a bite. A teen girl, Naya, cracked skulls with a cricket bat. We fought with everything. Desks, chairs, hope, fear. We held. Somehow. Day 3. The streets are silent. Radios are dead. The city is gone, but we're not. I don't know who's listening. I don't know if anyone will find this. But if you do, know this. We didn't run. We stood our ground. We helped who we could. We were the last line. Not because we had to, but because someone had to. Mason Rourke, Queensland Police. Badge number 48216. End transmission. They say the world ended on a Thursday. They were wrong. It ends again every day. The sun rose like an accusation, casting long shadows through the skeletons of skyscrapers. The smoke curled upward, as if the city itself were exhaling grief. This is day 4. And we're still here. Barely. We turned Brisbane City Hall into a keep, not out of courage, but desperation. A last redoubt carved from memory and marble. Chairs, tables, overturned podiums. Anything we could lift became barricades. Filing cabinets were dragged across floors, worn smooth by decades of civic debates. Now, they held back the silence beyond the glass. Constables Myers and Tahi stood the first watch. Their eyes, once curious, green and brown, were dull with sleep deprivation, fixed on the great double doors like men staring down fate itself. Jenny Markham didn't stop moving. Her hands, the same ones I once saw break up a pub brawl with grace, now stitched wounds and tied bandages with mechanical precision. She hadn't closed her eyes in 36 hours, but she moved as if sleep was a luxury she'd never known. She whispered comfort with a voice raw from smoke and screams, to the bleeding, to the lost, to herself, maybe. And Naya, the girl who should have been learning algebra and how to French braid, never left my side. She followed me through the corridors of shadow like a second conscience. I caught her mimicking me once, the way I reloaded, the way I crouched at corners, like a mirror half a second behind. Then one morning, as I checked my weapon, she said softly, "If I grow up, I want to be like you." My chest tightened like a fist around my heart. "You already are," I said, and I meant it. We drafted a rotation, 3-person sweeps of Queen Street Mall, 2 officers stationed by King George Square's crumbled statue. Our world had shrunk to 10 city blocks. We called it the safe zone, but it wasn't safe, only less deadly. Naya insisted on joining patrol. Jenny cornered me before our first loop. Her eyes, red-rimmed and fire-lit, glared at me. She's a kid Mason, not a soldier. I looked at the girl tightening her shoelaces, cricket bat slung across her back like a knight's sword. She's a survivor, just like us. So we taught her how to read movement between window shadows, how to tell the dead from the almost dead by breath rate and shoulder angle, how to make hard decisions and not look away. In the freezer of a Hungry Jack's, we found 4 survivors, 1 sweating, pale, bitten. Myers raised his pistol without a second thought. He'll turn. We end it now. But Naya stepped forward, calm as cold steel. He hasn't turned. We wait. She didn't plead, didn't beg, just stood there. 4 hours passed. When he turned, I pulled the trigger. She didn't blink. Halim, radio static. East entrance. Adelaide Street. Breach. Now. Glass exploded. A battered white van came through the barricade like a charging bull. Its horn blared a single flat note before silence returned, and then the screams. 4 infected poured out, then 6 more, then 10. Their eyes, dry and distant, gleamed like broken glass. It was chaos, pure and dirty. My world shrank to seconds. Finger squeeze, recoil, blood spray. Naya yelling, swinging that bat like it had betrayed her. Jenny appeared through the smoke, dragging a teenage boy, half conscious, bleeding, but alive. "He's not bit!" she yelled. "Cover me!" We did. I saw Clark fall, a chunk torn from his forearm. Still he fired. Still he screamed until his voice broke into static. When it ended, the street was a mosaic of bodies and spent shell casings. Tahi sat against a lamppost, trembling. That was too close. "They're getting bolder," I said, jaw clenched. "Smarter. Or hungrier." That night, the radio crackled like fire in snow. Radio, faint. "Logan, extraction point, southbound, 72 hours. We stared at it as if God had whispered. Jenny whispered, "If it's real, we go. Everyone who can move." "And if it's bait?" I asked. She looked at me. That long, quiet look women like her have used to silence war. "Then we die trying to hope." That night, Naya found me on the rooftop. She sat cross-legged, her hair in knots, her eyes fixed on the stars the smoke hadn't yet stolen. "I had a brother," she said. "He was 4. I left him in the bathroom when they came. I ran." The wind made her voice fragile. "I'm scared I'll forget his voice." I didn't tell her it was possible. I just wrapped an arm around her shoulders and pulled her in. "You won't," I said. "I promise." She cried. No sobs, no shudders, just slow, silent tears that soaked into my sleeve. I let her. Because sometimes love is holding silence. The next morning, we held a vote. 33 survivors, 8 cops, 1 battered loudspeaker. Jenny's voice rang out through the main hall like a sermon. "We leave at first light 2 days from now. We move fast. No one gets left behind." No objections, no applause, just nods from sunken eyes that had stared at too much death. Naya passed out ration packs like they were communion. Myers welded steel to the old council truck. I cleaned my sidearm, one slow pull at a time. Above us, the moon cut through cloud and smoke like a silver knife. This was it. The end of the siege. The beginning of the escape. Before sleep, we wrote names on the wall. Names of the lost. Names of the saved. Names we didn't want to forget. Naya, chalk in hand, stepped forward. She wrote in bold white letters, "We stayed, we helped, we held the line." Then she underlined it. Twice. And not a soul spoke for a full minute. This wasn't what we trained for. This was what we became. We were police, then soldiers, then protectors. Now, we are hope. We leave at dawn. If this recording survives, if anyone finds it, look for the girl with the cricket bat. Look for the flame that won't go out. Look for the ones who refuse to run. We are the line. Still. Mason Rourke, Queensland Police. Badge number 48216. End transmission.